Hey everybody, it's Josh again in editing. I want to let you know we do again have some bonus content at the end of this episode, so stick around to hear us being stupid and talking about stuff. And yeah, have a good time and enjoy this episode on the Velvet Underground with Nico and Zodiac.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. This podcast is called One for the Other. It's about two pretentious douchebags. Me being Lane Man.
And me being the other douchebag, Josh. I'm the one that's falling down in the pictures when we do the bonus content.
Oh yeah, baby. So we're talking about shit. We're talking about movies. We're talking about music. We recommend them to each other, and then we discuss it on this podcast. Why anyone would ever listen to that, I don't know, but
No one does.
You're right. I was gonna say something.
Good start. What
Good
a
start.
thrilling
You
start
like
to
that?
this podcast.
You like that intro? You like that intro? This is real.
We lost a train of thought. What, 3 minutes in? How
Not
long?
even 30 seconds,
even.
maybe 45.
I'm proud of us. Well, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching.
Our brains don't work, so
And
we'll see.
neither do we. We are unemployed. Yeah, welcome to the podcast.
Just kidding.
We don't have a Patreon. We talk movies and music, and so let's jump right in. Lane, you chose the record this week. What did we listen to?
So we listened to Banana album by Velvet Underground and Nico. That is what the album is called. It's actually called, technically, it's called Banana Album by Andy Warhol by Velvet Underground and Nico, released 1967. Everyone has seen the album cover at least, but we actually listened to the Banana record.
We listened to the Banana.
What the fuck? Who has ever done that?
The Banana made noise?
Banana make noise, dude. And some of the noises are all right. What'd you think?
This album has surprised me. Like I said last week, I have listened to this in the past a bit, because I feel like the Velvet Underground is a decently known name. Like anyone who listens to any form of alternative music has probably heard of the Velvet Underground.
Most definitely.
So I was like kind of expecting whatever, and it kind of threw me for a loop with a lot of the weird shit that happens on this album, because this album's kind of fucking weird.
Oh, definitely. Most definitely. Anywhere from the, really taboo lyrical content that they cover. They cover sadomasochism in Venus and Furs. They cover prostitution. They cover heroin in like every song. Seems like.
Especially heroin.
Especially heroin. That song, believe it or not, about heroin.
Actually, no heroin on that song only.
So yeah, and then instrumentally, they have a really fucking cool violist. I forget his name. That's how cool he is. But he achieves some really cool sounds with some really cool pedals and stuff. And a lot of this record is based on like drones and repetition, which in some aspects I see it as a plus, but in other songs it's just like, wrap it up, dog, come on. Like Waiting for My Man, cool song, very very neat instrumental, but after 4 minutes it's the same 2 fucking chords and it kind of gets stale. But the lyrics are super cool, and the like, Lou Reed definitely, that's like his style. When I think of Lou Reed's singing style, like that's kind of textbook Lou Reed, and you see that kind of. I don't know a comparison to make. I think the best comparison to make would be like a drugged up Bob Dylan. A more drugged up Bob Dylan. Did Bob Dylan do drugs?
Yeah, well, that's what Dr. Robert's about.
Yeah, because he introduced the Beatles to weed, right?
Yeah.
That's right. Well, So Lou Reed is just like, I don't want to dumb it down, but I am dumbing it down. It's basically just pretentious Bob Dylan. More pretentious Bob Dylan, because Bob Dylan's already pretentious. Anyways.
It's funny you mentioned Bob Dylan. I actually had a note about that mentioned Bob Dylan on a different song, actually, on the Black Angels Death song. I wrote, if Clipping did a Bob Dylan song.
Holy shit, you're right. That's hilarious. That track is very, very cool. Besides the lyrics, I don't like the lyrics. It's just nonsense. But I think that's kind of the point. I don't know. But like the drone on that track, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That kind of, it's not as repetitive as songs like Waiting for My Man, because it's not like two chord guitar riff. It's this really atmospheric sounding, viola drone. It sounds like something from Ravi Shankar or something playing the sitar. Definitely cool.
And going back to what you said about like pretentious or whatever, something I wrote down was that it reminded me of those very lyric heavy bands where it's like there's a lot of lyrical content and they're using weird language that you were like, I enjoy this, but to really know what it means I'd have to break it down. The examples I wrote down, Ezra Furman, Mountain Goats, Rowland S. Howard, etc. Anything where it's like there's less focus on the instrumental. Obviously they give focus to the instrumental, but in terms of like the writing style of this, a lot of it reminded me of that, where you can't quite figure out exactly what you're hearing unless you were to really sit down and like, okay, what does that mean, and what does this mean, and what does that all go together to?
I think the best example of that is definitely Venus and Furs, because they're referencing this old 19th century book about sadomasochism, and it's super, super, super obtuse if you don't know what the fuck they're talking about. It's like, who's this guy? Who are they talking about? What the fuck? Talking about Venus and Furs, I think that's definitely the coolest song on the record, next to Heroin, probably.
Yeah.
Just because the atmosphere they achieve is so fucking dark, and so, I don't know, it's very cool. And Lou Reed's vocals definitely good. Like Sunday Morning, where Lou Reed tries to fucking sing, like, for real. It's like, I appreciate that you're trying, just don't do it again.
I like the singing on Sunday Morning.
Sunday morning.
Yeah, it's like it feels like he just woke up and it's like a lazy Sunday or whatever. And the instrumental backs that very well. So that's how it felt.
So I listened to this song in a good mood, and I did enjoy it. But when I listened to it in a bad mood, it I don't know, it felt like it was mocking me for some reason. It's like the tone of the vocals is just like, I just wanted to punch Lou Reed's corpse.
Well, speaking of specific members, something that I noted, the tracks where Nico is most prominent, Nico, I believe, left the Velvet Underground and went on to pursue her own career or something like that.
Yeah, she's like a German pop star that Andy Warhol really liked.
Yeah. So she has done other stuff, and she's worked with the Velvet Underground a little bit, especially. This was their debut, so she worked with them in the beginning and left. I really liked what she brought to the table. Songs like Femme Fatale, I really enjoyed, and All Tomorrow's Parties. I really liked what she did, so I haven't listened to any of her other stuff.
You liked All Tomorrow's Parties?
Yeah, it was like weird and cool. I was like, tomorrow party.
I don't know. I could not fucking stand that song when going back to it. The first time I listened to it, I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. But then in the whole scheme of the album as a whole, I would get to that song and just be like, oh my God, seriously? It's just that I can't even explain to you why I don't like it. I think it is because of her vocals, but I like Femme Fatale a lot, so it doesn't. I think it's kind of the like medieval sound to the track. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It has like this medieval aspect that it doesn't meld with me and the image that I have for this record. And then it also has that, chronic fucking repetition that is just like,
Yeah.
okay, come on, Nico, wrap it up. We've heard you say the same thing 45 times.
It is 6 minutes long, and it could probably be 3.
Mm-hmm. So that's probably my least favorite song on the record.
Mine would probably be European Sun.
Really?
Yeah, it's like I appreciate what they're doing and like, pushing stuff, and this was a very influential band for doing what they did, and they went on to influence a lot of different genres. But it's just too weird for me. Like nothing really too grandiose of like I didn't like this or that. I was just like, a little too much for me.
Yeah. I think just the fact that it is very proto noise rock and that they were experimenting with this shit in 1967 and it sounds, I kind of wish the whole record had more of this stuff, like more of European Sun and more of the end of Heroin, where it goes fucking crazy. Because I don't know. I think it contributes to like the fucking, really chaotic, taboo nature of the entire record. You could definitely tell that they didn't give a shit whatever anybody thought, and I think that that's very cool.
Yeah, I think we approached this record kind of differently and appreciated it differently because what I enjoyed mostly was when they had some more of like the traditional of like songwriting and the way they were, songs like Sunday Morning, Femme Fatale, etc., etc. But the instrumentals they played a bit more with, and it felt more like something kind of waiting to come out. I really enjoyed that. Like you could almost kind of feel like a tension within the band of like wanting to do this weirder stuff and experiment more with their music, but at the same time wanting to sell records, which is a valid concern, and writing songs that they know people might listen to just like on their own. So that kind of undercurrent of experimental stuff that they had, especially in the beginning of the record, I appreciated the most. But I can definitely see influencing stuff like noise rock back in '67. Like that's insane.
Definitely. It's fucking wild just listening to it. Like, could you imagine listening to like Sgt. Pepper came out the same year?
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking crazy. I mean, Sgt. Pepper, it has some crazy shit, but this is leagues beyond. Not leagues, I don't know. It's a difficult comparison.
Well, I mean, like, you could say Sgt. Pepper is kind of pushing the realm and the edges of pop a bit.
Yeah.
But these are cutting straight to the core. They're foregoing pop almost entirely and saying we're just going to push what we can do with our music and what sounds we can make and do all that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
So
do you have anything else?
I don't know. It's just super hit or miss with this record for me. There's very high highs and very low lows. It's hard to some parts are just legitimately hard to sit through, and then other parts I'm excited to listen to again. So
yeah.
I don't know. I think that's really all I have to say about this record.
The only other thing I would say, and one other comparison, because that's how I think sometimes, is it reminded me a little bit of the Gorillaz self-titled album, in that there's a little bit of an identity crisis happening of where they don't quite know what they want their sound to be and what they want to do with the high highs and low lows. I think you can definitely see that. Look at like on the Gorillaz self-titled, Left Hand Suzuki Method next to Clint Eastwood, and it's like these are two wildly different songs which don't really fit the same noise, and the band may choose one way or the other in the future. But it did remind me of that, and I'm it's a debut album, so I'm sure they found their sound and leaned which way or whatever. I haven't looked at all, but so I thought that was kind of interesting.
Totally. All right, let's rate this sumbitch.
Let's do it.
You do it first. I'm scared.
It's okay. They're not going to hurt you. All four
Lou
of our
Reed's
listeners.
gonna come back and get me. Lou Reed's gonna be the table.
Lou Reed and our 4 listeners will not hurt you. But I'm going to give this album... God, I'm just trying to decide between like a 6 or a 7.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give it a 7.
All right.
I think it's cool that they were trying stuff, especially way back then. But this is not an album I'm probably going to be, putting on just to listen to in the future. And it's, like I said, it's a little bit too weird for me.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10, just because of how inconsistent it is. I will definitely be revisiting the highlights of this record: Venus and Furs, Heroin, and European Sun, most definitely. But the other ones, yeah, I don't care much for. So yeah, 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. That
Glad
works for
I
me.
chose 7, so you could go at 6.
I'm the asshole.
You're the ass, and I'm epic. Anyways, let's put this into our list. We did mention last episode about possibly transitioning into a more traditional tier list. That's kind of weird. That didn't really start till like 3 years ago, and it's a traditional tier list. We did talk about moving it into SABC, etc. And so we are gonna wait till our 15th episode. We do have we'll have 16 things because we had like stuff from a test episode and just to fill it out more once we started. So there'll be 16 things, but that'll be our 15th episode, and that'll be a special episode, so be on the lookout for that.
Yeah.
So where do you want to put it?
Let me look at it. Let me see a little doodad here.
I'm thinking above Best Buds is where I'm thinking.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I'm cool with that, boy.
All right. Time to ruin all that, careful stuff I did earlier because I'm too far zoomed out and that'll take way too long. I spent 20 minutes lining all this stuff up. Legit.
Holy shit.
Mostly the movie posters because they're all different sizes.
Yeah, my God. That's so annoying. What the fuck?
It's because I go on Google Images.
Yeah. Is there a database of movie posters?
If I pulled them from the same site, they'd probably all be the same. Like if I was always pulling from IMDb or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I like to look at all the cool ones.
Yeah, there are some really cool alternative ones.
Especially Drive. If you ever want to see cool 80s vibe art, just look at Drive movie posters. Fan made posters of that movie are super crazy cool.
Fuck yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to the movie for this week, which I had the pleasure of choosing, and I went with something I had been wanting to watch for a while and hadn't. Was the 2007 Fincher film again.
Yeah.
Zodiac. So what was your thoughts on Zodiac?
So, okay, for those who don't know, this is about, spoiler alert, the Zodiac Killer.
It's about Ed Gein.
And I don't know much about the Zodiac Killer at all, and I think this movie does a very good job at displaying the chaos of it, the obsession of finding who this motherfucker was, and I think it's a very solid historical movie. I have some problems with it, but I think we can get into those later. What did you think?
This movie, I think, well, like you said, it covers pretty much all of Zodiac. Kind of opens with the kill that got him on the map and ends all the way with way into the future. So, and I honestly, I thought that was part of the problem. This movie was way too fucking long.
That I will fucking agree with.
It didn't need to be. It wasn't necessarily like super boring. I wouldn't say it's like blue is the warmest color too long. It's like they have stuff going on, but it's not connected strong enough to warrant all that. I think they really wanted to show all of Zodiac, and I think that was their mistake. I think what they should have done is started after the 4 year like gap, and gone with Jake Gyllenhaal's character story, because that's the strongest part of this movie.
Yeah,
It's
the
not,
ending, definitely.
and that's like an hour easy. So spend half an hour maybe setting up the beginning, with all that. But we don't need to see all of Mark Ruffalo trying to track him down, and we don't need to see Jake Gyllenhaal being a stupid cartoonist for like an hour. Like, it's so unnecessary. And then the story doesn't really, like, it's kind of moving along, but also most people are going to come into this film with the knowledge that we never truly found out who Zodiac is. Like, that's still a thing in real life.
Yeah,
so
it's an open investigation, right?
Yeah, I believe, I don't remember exactly. There was text at the end of the movie about
Yeah.
it, and I don't know if there's been recent developments at all, but they, like, there's no clear answer on who the Zodiac is. So when you're kind of hyping it up as like a investigative drama type thing, where it's like, oh, we're gonna find out who Zodiac is, and here's all these leads we have, and da 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 da, and it's like, well, where is this going? Because I know we don't catch him, so where's this gonna go? And then the 4 year gap happens, and then it becomes an entirely different story. That's a much better story, and I don't know why they had all the beginning. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how they wrote it and formatted it, and the jumps in time, especially at the very beginning. The jumps in time are kind of undefined, and really it could be a day or a month or 6 months. I think they do have like time stamps or whatever, but it's still kind of jarring for it to span a couple days and then a month. It's like, what the fuck? Like, it's some movies do that really well. I can't think of an example right now, but this one
is the warmest color.
Fuck you. This movie, I feel like there's too much shit going on. There's too many B plots going on at the same. Maybe that's a good way to describe the first half of this movie. Is it's all B plot.
There's really no is.
A plot. I mean, the overarching A plot would be, oh, we're trying to find this fucker, but it's just so much B plot that it really takes away from,
Yeah, and it's like they're trying to stay very true to life, which I appreciate. I mean, it is very dramatized still, but you can tell that they like are doing their research, and the jumps in time are clearly necessary. It would have been way longer without them, since they jumped almost every scene. But the A plot that they want to follow is Jake Gyllenhaal finding this guy, but he can't really do that as much in the beginning. So there's just nothing for him to do, and we have to go to these B plots. And then the A plot really just takes such a back seat, and we're setting up Mark Ruffalo and his partner moving away, and that doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
And we're going to these crime scenes, and it's like, okay, I know that now, and like I can be like, oh, okay, so that makes sense later when he's like talking to the cops or whatever. But it's just like the Jake Gyllenhaal story that you want to focus on doesn't really have a great start until the 4 year jump. So why are we spending like an hour on the fucking these guys?
Yeah.
Fucking Robert Downey Jr. doesn't need to be in this movie.
No, he sucks. Robert Downey Jr. plays Robert Downey Jr. in every fucking movie he's in. He's so boring. It's like, haha, Iron Man, haha, whatever. It's like, even this was before Iron Man, but it's like, fuck. Yeah. Have some fucking dynamic, just try, motherfucker. That's all I'm asking from you. I liked Mark Ruffalo for a little bit, but then I realized he's very, very one-dimensional and has like no fucking emotion in his face or voice at all ever. It's like I don't know. I'm definitely a slut for that really dramatized take, and all the performances. Jake Gyllenhaal did the best, I think, with his character and how fucking autistic and obsessive he is. And I loved him in this movie. But Robert Downey Jr. and Mark Ruffalo they could, yeah, I don't know. Fucking
And
worthless.
even to put a little bit of Mark Ruffalo in, but Robert Downey Jr.'s character is so inconsequential. Like, he kind of helps Jake Gyllenhaal at the beginning and kind of gets him into the fray and, is his insight into it.
Yeah.
But then once the story starts, like I said, 4 years later, he's just some drunk living there, and he visits him once, and he's not the same person he used to be.
Yeah.
And then there's like one like fan service shot at the end where he's like, oh my god, he did it. He's a wow.
Yeah.
Now I
Oh my
have a
god.
thing.
That little fucking scene pissed me off when he's sitting at the bar. It's like, oh my god, just fucking quit it. I don't give a shit about the character. I think that's the worst part. Okay, keep the whole writing, the whole everything, and just not the whole writing. If you change his characterization a little bit, made him more of a likable character and less of a, I don't know. He doesn't even have to be likable. It's just something. I think I just don't like Robert Downey Jr. as an actor. He's just fucking stupid.
And you know what else made me upset? The fucking sound design in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And here's why. It's because every time they're in the fucking newspaper office or the goddamn police station, there's a fucking phone ringing in the background. And it's the same fucking ring, old school dial tone ring. And it happens fucking constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, pick up the phone. Or
seriously.
put some other ambience in here. Put something else. Because all you're doing is having this annoying ringing thing. And that's where most of the fucking beginning of the movie takes place. He worked for the newspaper office, and Mark Ruffalo's a cop. So there's so many phones ringing. So then in scenes where, like, when the people are all like, I know who the Zodiac is, and they're all trying to give tips, so inconsequential, because we've been hearing that phone ring for the past 2 hours.
Yeah, it really doesn't make a big jump. I feel like there was supposed to be a big jump between, like, oh, this is what a normal day in the office looks like, and this is what it looks like when they're trying to find the Zodiac killer. It was nothing. It felt the exact same.
Absolutely.
If it was more impactful, if the characters were struggling to hear each other talk and they were like yelling over each other, I think that would have made it more compelling. But it definitely was just.
Or just adding other layers. Yeah, like just other layers to the sound design. If you have to have a phone ringing at the backing of every scene, which I would not suggest because it's just annoying. Like it's an old it's a, rotary phone, so it's it's meant to be like, "Hey, pick me up." Yeah. So I don't want to hear that for 2 hours, and then like add some more to build it. Do something. Ambiance is a creative tool. This is something you can use to create a space and give the audience a sense of where they are without having to show anything at all. And they just didn't take advantage of that. They had one track for, wherever they were, and they just kind of laid that over each scene.
Yeah. And I definitely want to touch on the ambiance and the atmosphere of this movie. And as I was watching this movie, I was constantly comparing it to Mindhunter. David Fincher, serial killers. I don't
Pretty
know.
lead.
Pretty fucking fair comparison. And the way that Mindhunter builds that atmosphere and builds their characters, and you feel like you're in the fucking 60s. You feel like you're at the FBI, whatever. You feel like these are actual people that could have existed in the 60s. This film, like, I didn't realize until like 30 minutes in when the fucking, I can't remember what song it was. It was like, oh shit, this probably takes place in the 60s. Make the costume design more compelling. Make this how they talk to each other. Have different, 60s stereotypes of people, have a hippie, have, the hard beat cop, I don't.
Yeah. Well,
it's just frustrating.
It's late 60s, early 70s at the beginning, and then obviously jumps 4 years. But, and that's a decade that we both really enjoy and love to see. And, that's part of the reason we both really enjoy Mindhunter is,
yes,
you feel like you're in the 70s. There's all this cool clothing and design and all this stuff we really enjoy about it. I think the soundtrack did hit well with this movie. I think they did a good job there. But yeah, like you said, I mean, I noticed at the beginning, I was like, oh, nice, 70s movie. This is gonna be good. I'm gonna, that's basically a free space on my bingo card. And
Yeah.
they made me not like a movie set in the 70s, and I don't know
Yeah.
how they did that.
That's terrible. I think that this, I think that Mindhunter is okay. Okay, I don't know how to phrase this, but I think David Fincher looked at this movie probably and was like, "This, I don't know. This is fucked up. I didn't have enough time to flesh out all the characters. This and that. Fucking, let's make it a mini series and really focus in on. It's not even a mini series. It's a fucking TV show. Really focus in on the characters. Really focus in on the psychology of everything. Make everything really captivating and really well done and just thoughtful. I think this film was just lacking a lot of thought and intention, and that's its biggest detriment.
Yeah, I mean, some of my smaller notes too are like that. I don't remember where it was, but there's part where they cut out to a wide and then they fade out. That's two transitionary like tools. Why would you use them both back to back? You can fade out of a close up. That's okay. Also, if you're gonna cut to a wide, you can like pan to the sky or cut to a different wide. Like you've taken us out of the setting, now take us into another setting. You don't need to fade out of a wide. And then when Mark Ruffalo is going through the scene, one of the crime scenes, like just outside the house, he just like starts touching shit.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I know it's the 70s, but we know what fingerprints are. They mentioned it earlier. Stop touching shit.
What's with the fucking animal crackers? That's so fucking stupid.
So
like
dumb.
They tried to make it like a haha funny animal cracker thing, but it's like they didn't set it up. Like the way they set it up is just like, do you have any animal crackers in the car? And then they kept using it, and it was just like, what the fuck is with the animal crackers? And why should I give a fuck? Why should I laugh at that? It's not good. It's not funny.
Why is this like grown man just eating so many animal crackers? And they try to bring it back when he gets the new partner. He's like, you wouldn't happen to have any animal crackers, do you?
Yeah.
Like, what? No. And it's like, that's because he's a real human being. He's not. Yeah. He hasn't been working with this fucking psychopath who just eats animal crackers every day.
The bow tie and wears his gun like fucking fucking retard. Ugh.
That was like the funniest scene though. It didn't, I don't know why, and it never came up again. Maybe it was cut or something. But when he's talking to the shoe cleaner, I guess, who plays a weird part in this movie, like a strangely large part in this movie.
Yeah.
Shoe shiner in the newspaper office. He's like, you get mad people call you shorty? You get mad people call you retard?
Yeah. That is the one. Yeah, that's the best part of the whole movie.
And then Robert Downey Jr. is like,
what,
people call me names? It's like the only part I really laughed at.
Yeah. And that's like well set up dialogue and like a good joke to have in the movie.
It's so pointless too. Like,
yeah,
no one ever calls him that in the movie, even behind his back.
But it just like, it's just funny because he is so retarded. He's just an autistic OCD fuck. I don't know. Yeah, that was really funny. And also, one of the McPoyle brothers is at the end.
Yes, I wrote that down too.
It's like, yo, my boy.
He's in Psych. Have you seen that show?
Mm-mm.
I would recommend it. It's very good. But he's in that, and he's like plays this super weird, like super smart guy. It's like if a McPoyle was a genius, and it's fucking really funny.
Fucking love. Oh god, I love this too.
What's that actor's name? He is so like, he kind of always plays the same character, but he's like funny.
Yeah, he gets the job done, man. He's great. So I think I take back what I said at the very beginning when you asked me what I thought of this movie. I think it's kind of a train wreck, just talking about it and thinking about it, because I didn't really put much thought into it because I was kind of drunk. But I think, yeah, just talking about it and thinking about it definitely ruined it.
I mean, it's a comprehensive look at the Zodiac killer and what happened and the investigation.
Yeah.
But it's not a compelling movie. and there's a lot of stuff that I think they wanted to do but just didn't pull off. There's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff that doesn't make sense. Also, when Jake Gyllenhaal goes to the guy's house and he's like pretty much like confirming that he is the Zodiac, but also he's not at the end, which I never really
Yeah.
understood why he's not. But it becomes a thriller for no reason for
Yeah, it was
5
like a weird
minutes.
horror thing.
I was so
Yeah.
confused. Like, this movie isn't scary.
It was kind of campy, but I actually kind of like that scene for some reason. I think it was because it was so campy and like out of nowhere. It was something different. It wasn't the same fucking horse shit over and over. And it was
Well,
like,
I thought it was well done. It was like, I was like, oh, this is a good like thriller scene. But
Yeah. Maybe if the whole movie was like that, it would have been better. But
Yeah.
it's a crime drama, so probably
Yeah,
wouldn't
like-
have worked.
It's a crime drama. Don't put a random thriller scene that doesn't even pay off. That guy just disappears and they never
Yeah,
talk
and
about
you
him
know-
again. Gyllenhaal
You're so
just
right.
straight up disregards that guy as a suspect for some reason because
Mhm.
there's like compelling evidence against the Lee guy. But
Yeah.
there's also really compelling evidence.
It's so hard to keep
Warren.
up with all the suspects and everything too. Like I kept going back and forth. I was like, wait, that's that guy's friend who knows this guy's sister, and this guy is potentially this because of the fingerprints, but the handwriting doesn't match up because he's ambidextrous, but he's not ambidextrous, and it's like, okay, I
And then
know
the
it's supposed to be
handwriting thing you
confusing.
can't trust.
Yeah, I know it's supposed to be confusing, but it's just like, like, give me something to work with here, man. Like, I don't. Just go watch Mindhunter. It's so much better. It's so much better. So much better directed, captivating. It tackles some really, really like the cool part of serial killers, like the psychological aspect. And that's where this movie falters. It's fucking dumb. All right.
And if you just want to know about the Zodiac thing, I'm sure there's a fucking documentary or a docu-series or something
That's
about
better.
it.
Yeah.
Watch those instead, because if
Yeah.
you just want to learn what happened, watch that. If you want to watch a movie, watch something else. Watch Disgustingly Wicked, Shockingly Evil and Vile, or the Dahmer one. I haven't seen that,
Yeah.
but I've heard it's not bad either.
Just fucking, yeah. Just fucking.
Just don't watch it, basically.
And I'm sad that Ted Cruz isn't in this movie.
They didn't know yet. It was only 2007.
Yeah, you're right. That's the biggest breakthrough of the last 20 years.
Ted Cruz.
It's funny. So yeah, let's rate this bitch.
All right, you go first.
I'm gonna give it a. I originally had it in my drunken state on the 4th of July as a 7 out of 10, and I think I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. 5 Ted Cruzes out of 10 Ted Cruzes.
That's generous. I'm gonna have to give this movie a 3 out of 10. I think
fair.
its only strengths are, I mean, it looks pretty. It's a Fincher film. He knows how to like make things look pretty, and like I said, the soundtrack's pretty good. Gyllenhaal's not bad.
Wait. There's one more thing. One massive grievance I have with this movie. The fucking score. Not the soundtrack. The soundtrack's good because it's other people's music. But the score written for this movie, absolute drivel. Fucking horseshit. So boring. So... it's just something about how the piano sounds, and they're trying to like do a theme with it and a leitmotif with it, and it doesn't fucking work because it's so fucking boring. It makes me want to blow my brains out. That's all.
For our plebeian listeners, leitmotif is a musical theme meant to represent a character or theme that is repeated throughout the movie.
Don't mansplain my mom, Josh.
Not everyone knows what a fucking leitmotif is, dumbass.
They can look it up. They got Google phone.
They're gonna pause this podcast and go look it up. Then we're
they're
gonna
interested.
have 3 listeners.
Like, these assholes know what a leitmotif is? Oh my god. I'm not listening to this shit ever again.
Fucking German type shit. I'm not.
No way.
Can't trust the Germans.
So in the tier list, where would this be? Where would this lie?
Let me pull it up. Maybe above Green Room. That's as high as I'm going.
Yeah, put it there.
Okay. Fuck you. to this movie?
I just love David Fincher so much. I didn't think, because as soon as I saw David Fincher in the credits, I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be a good movie. Like, no questions asked. But he fucked it up, man.
He did us dirty.
He did. Just go watch Mindhunter, everybody. It's on fucking Netflix.
Just do it. Or there's good Fincher films.
Yeah, like Social Network. Go watch that. Or fucking Fight Club. Or Memento. Or, fucking any other Fincher project.
All right. Well, that concludes our drivel and our being stupid. So, let's talk about what is happening for next week. I have the album this week, and I wanted to look at a little piece of what I feel like is some music history type. We're gonna listen to a band that was in the 90s. They were going to be the big hit of the 90s. They were going to bring the Seattle sound out. And Sub Pop, the label that was a big part of all that, really put a lot of effort into these guys. And then Nirvana happened instead. And this band is not a flop at all. They're still respected within the grunge scene. We're going to listen to Mudhoney's debut record, Superfuzz Big Muff. Hey guys, Josh in editing once again. I did want to let you know that if you wanted to listen along with us this week and you wanted to listen to Superfuzz Big Muff, the only available option on Spotify right now is the deluxe edition, which has a bunch of demos and live recordings, but we're not going to be looking at that. We're just going to be looking at the track list as it was released. So if you want to see that, there's a playlist that I made featuring just the tracks without any of the demos, and it'll be linked in the description. So if you want to listen along, look there and you can see what we thought about it next week.
Yo, that's one I haven't listened to. I've listened to all the other big grunge records. Nevermind, 10, fucking Super Unknown. But I haven't listened to this one. I think this is going to be a fun one. Yeah,
and that'll be, I think grunge is such an interesting, like genre, and I think this will be an interesting way to look at, some of the smaller artists. Not that these guys are small at all, but someone who isn't, a cultural phenomenon like Nirvana.
The unsung heroes of grunge.
Sure.
Fuck you.
We'll find out.
Well, yeah, we'll find out, I guess. So I have the movie this week, and I'm tired of fucking watching these movies that make my brain work a lot. So we're gonna have a fucking giggle this week. We're gonna laugh.
Giggle.
We're gonna have a giggle. We're gonna have a whole bunch of giggles, because we're gonna watch Monty Python's The Life of Brian.
Good.
Fuck you. It's really funny.
I don't love Monty Python, but I'm going to come into this with
why? Explain. Well, okay. You know what? We'll save it for the next episode.
We'll talk about it next week, but I'm going to go into this with high hopes. People talk about it, it's funny. I'm going to come into it thinking it's funny, and then hopefully I'll get some ha-has, some funny ha-has.
You better get some funny ha-has, or I'll do unspeakable things to your cock.
I don't hear one ha-ha out of you. Ha-ha, right now. Do it.
Pussy. Okay. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Go subscribe to us on YouTube. We're working on getting the podcast onto Spotify and Apple Podcasts and some other ones that I don't think anyone else consumes podcasts through. So we're working on that right now, and hopefully that'll get, I don't know, some traffic or something. We'll see.
I mean, at the very minimum, it'll make it easier for, you guys listening at home, because I know how hard it is to listen to something on YouTube. Like, that's somewhere you go to watch stuff. So we understand that, and we are working to, do something bigger. We will still be uploading to YouTube. Don't worry if that is, how you prefer to watch it for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll be there, and we'll have, more announcements as that comes. But yeah, keep an eye out for that. Only one though.
Follow our Instagram at onefortheother.podcast. Go send us dick pics to our email, onefortheotherpodcast at gmail.com.
No dick pics. I'm so confused.
Yeah. We talked about it. Yeah.
Where's our dick pics?
Yeah, where are they at? That's what I'm confused about.
Where's my dick? Tell me.
Where is it? I can't find it. I dropped it.
I think I left it at your house. Can I come get it? My mom can drive me.
I think it's in the crack. I think it's in the crack of the couch. You know, the crack of doom.
Yeah, it's scary. Spiders.
All right, everybody, go watch Life of Brian. Go listen to Super Fuzz, Big Muff, whatever the fuck. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Super Fuzz Big Muff by Mudhoney.
By Mudhoney. And tune in next week.
Bye.
See you. Oh my. Okay. Fuck. I have no energy. I'm gonna kill myself.
Let's go.
Gotta get home. Just gonna clip the shit out of the microphone and disturb my neighbors. Sorry.
Fuck
neighbors.
you, listeners. You don't get to hear anything. Oh my god, it's squares on the waveform.
Oh my god. That's fun, making it clip.
Holy shit, I've never seen an audio file that fucking bad.